Like, what is that? What does that just remind me of? Bring It On Home to Me, which was by Sam, has Lou Rawls
Absolutely.
on the background. And
Absolutely.
I didn't know that at the time, but years later, when you go back and listen to it, it gives it a whole
new appreciation.
You've given me some homework here. I'm going to go back and find Jackie.
Absolutely.
I'm going to find Jackie.
It's called It's All Right.
It's All Right.
It's All Right.
You know, I was actually referring to something that happened even earlier than that, probably at the King of Hearts Club.
Okay.
Where Dave was on stage doing Doggin' Around.
Doggin' Around, go ahead.
And he went up on the lyrics, and you fed them to him.
Oh, that was Dave. I did that. I did that with Dave. Dave had came to the club, come over to the King of Hearts.
Did you know each other at that point?
No, I had heard about him, but I heard about this young man that sounded like. At first, they said he sounded like Jackie Wilson. Then it turned from Jackie Wilson to Sam Cooke. And, you know, I was interested because I'm interested in both of these guys, and I know them very well, you know. And I said, well, you know, one day, whenever I get a chance, maybe, you know, I'll go see this, you know, catch him at one of these amateur hours. But it so happened he came to the club where I was the MC, and I recognized the name. I said, what's your name? He said, Prater. You know, is that your first name or your last? What's your name? Dave Prater. I said, oh, you know, we went on from there. And when we got on, a young lady was on stage, and she sang, Eloy Swarman, singing young lady. She sounded like Aretha, so she was great. Then I called Dave. And after this young lady got finished singing, Dave wasn't going to win anyway, but anyway, the guy had to go up on the stage. So I called him, and I said, he's going to sing this song, Dogging Me Around. And the guy gave him this big aphasia, you better stop. And he did good. He really, you know, you better stop your dogging me around. Oh, what? Don't sound like Jackie. Doesn't sound like Sam. But that's okay. But when he got to the verses, can't help it much longer. When he went there, he went, can't help it much longer.
And froze?
That's what I'm doing. he froze. The band, the rhythm section stopped. I stopped. Because usually I don't stay on stage when the artist is up there, the acts are up there. And I turned around and he was just, now he's sweating.
Wow.
You understand? He's really laughing. And he has a process, and the process is getting, you know, like small, you know, the process is going back to recess. You know what I'm saying? You know, and I'm looking, and I see this guy's really getting to freak, you know. So I walked up and I said, and people are screaming, get him off, get him off. So I said, look, I know the song. I'll step in and help you. I can't sing with you, but I'll help you. You don't know the verse. He said, I said, I know the word. Everything that I say, you say it. You know, just because I'm saying, give him a chance and blah, blah, blah. Bring him back. So he went all over again. And when he got to where I said, can't help it. Can't help it much longer. And I'm trying, you know, I'm trying to get my, you know, my foot is getting in the cord. You know, I'm trying to get my foot out. You know, and I'm trying to back up. And as I'm putting my foot back, the cord is wrapped, and the mic is going, now my hair is not doing that, but I'm sweating. And my eyes are getting about the sides of this room, and I'm trying to lean with one arm to get, you know, and he's going down to get it because he's nervous and he wants to do something. And the audience thought that was the act.
Oh, wow.
And for the next 22, maybe 21 years, Sam and Dave was Sam and Dave.
Wow. So in a weird way,
Yeah.
the duo was born in that moment.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's terrific.
Not by choice, you know.
Before we get too far away from it, I said that this would be a guided tour of great American soul music. I can't believe this, but it will be 40 years this year that we lost Sam Cooke. Is there a favorite song of his that you have that we should play, or is there a Sam Cooke song that you've recorded that we could play?
I did record. Well, I recorded a song that he had written for the Sims Twins. But before it became a song for the Sims Twins, it was a gospel song called Save Me, Jesus, Save Me, which turned out to be Soothe Me, Baby, Soothe Me.
That's on the best of.
Yes.
Let's listen on Mixed Bag Radio. That's great because that'll show the connection between.
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah.
Oh. That is Soothe Me, written by Sam Cooke, performed by Sam and Dave from their Best Of album. This is Pete Fornatale on Mixed Bag Radio. I'll have more with the great Sam Moore right after this. One segment down, two to go.
Okay.
All right, let me see where
You're going way back on me, Pete. Wow. Some of these things I'm having to remember hard.
Dig deep.
I'm digging deep.
Digging deep. I can tell.
Yeah.
I can tell. All right, let's pick up with part two. Pete Fornatale back with you on Mixed Bag Radio with my special guest today, Sam Moore. Sam, we've established that you spent your growing up years in Miami, but you are so identified with Memphis and the Stax Volt sound. How did the boy from Miami get to Memphis?
I don't know. Dave and I, Dave Prater, and I, we were signed to Atlantic. That's the contract.
Here in New York?
Yes. When we signed the contract, we signed it in California, but yes, we were signed to Atlantic here in New York. And we were then, at the time, I called it being shipped. Being shipped. We were shipped down to Memphis. And I tell you, as much as I knew about Memphis, I knew country and the blues, and I really wasn't all that gung-ho about it, kind of sad, but hey, you're getting ready to go record, you sign a contract, so we went down there and to Memphis, Tennessee, and I remember the people that we first met, Jim Stewart, Al Jackson, Steve Cropper, and pretty happy when I saw these people. Jim Stewart, which turned out to be the engineer and part owner of Stax.
He's the ST
He's
of
the,
Stax.
Stewart, yes,
right.
And his sister.
Axton,
Axton.
Yeah. She's the AX. People don't know that.
People don't know that.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I think they think in terms of stacks.
I know.
Of
no,
records.
it's a brother and sister.
And it was an
brother
old
and sister-in-law, if you however you put it, you want to do it.
It was an old converted movie theater. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And I could have lived with that. That was fine. That was okay. But what got to me was they were waiting on Isaac Hayes to come around to the studio. And as I was standing there, Dave and I had just gotten out of the cab, and Mr. Stewart said, "Oh, here comes Isaac now." And I looked, and I went, oh, water first came into my, tears bulged up into my eyes. This guy had hair, and he had this beard, like so. And he had on this, I think it was pink, see-through net-like shirt, Peter. And he had chartreuse pants. you know, and a white belt. And I went down, and he had on pink socks and white shoes. And I went, Dave, this is it. What have we gotten ourselves into? Call Jerry, call somebody. We got to get out of here. And Jim Stewart said, no. This is going to be one of your producers. One of the producers. Is anyone else like him? I'm saying to myself. And round the corner, here comes Dave Porter with this little stingy brim hat. During the daytime, he's an insurance man going from house to house selling insurance with pal pusher's pants on and shoes and with holes in the bottom. And I'm going, well, what are we? What are they doing to us? You know? And he says, hi. I'm Dave Prayer. What? I'm Dave. I said, Prayer, what? He said, oh, I'm Dave Porter. I said, okay. And he had a lot of teeth, right? Oh, boy. I knew we were in trouble. So we went inside, and then they started playing some songs, introducing songs so that we were going to record, not to see if we wanted to record them, but to record them. Mm-hmm. We had no clout. Never did. And they played Jody Ryder. Can't you find another way of doing it, baby? Can't you? So, Lord have mercy. Now, you got to understand, Peter, my mind is set to Sam Cooke, Jackie Wilson, Little Willie John, you know, people like that, Benton, you know. Oh, man, what are you doing? I don't know what's going on, you know. And I didn't like any of these songs, but we stuck it out. And
there must have been a moment, though, where it clicked, where the idea of the songs that they were giving you and the production that they were production and musicians that they were surrounding you with were the perfect vehicle for Sam and Dave, yeah?
They relied more, and I didn't know it then, but they were relying more on, at first, trying to get Dave and I to harmonize. And that wasn't working very well, because Dave and I would never harmonized. Like the Everly Brothers or the Righteous Brothers. We blended, but we never harmonized.
Right.
There's a difference.
Yes.
When that didn't work, then what they did, they started putting in a third verse of a song. And they would have an instrumental to where we would go back to the top, and then I would do all the dynamics and the voice and all that. And when they discovered that, when Isaac discovered that, and also the rest of the staff, then they started relying, which is so sad, they started relying more on my voice. That became an albatross with Dave, because where I actually was comfortable singing at that time up in the ceiling, if need be, because it was easy for me, it wasn't easy for my partner. So they had to be very careful how they designed the song. So a lot of times I would come off the road, and they had to wait sometime 10 days before I could sing.
Wow.
Because we had been on the road. So they wanted that clarity, but they also wanted that raw, rough. And I gave them that, but they didn't know that it actually was straining me. So a lot of the early stuff that you hear, you don't hear clarity in it. You hear roughness, just rough, like I'm angry, you know, and they say that was Sam and Dave, but actually that wasn't, because I was training to compensate how they were designing the songs.
And I'm sure it had an impact on the dynamic of the duo, which we'll talk more about in a bit, but you anticipated one of my questions. The two giant hit-making machines in the 60s were Motown out of Detroit and Stax Volt out of Memphis. How would you characterize the differences between what Motown was doing, excuse me, between what Motown was doing and what Stax Volt was doing?
That's a good question because, and I'll tell you why. We started, Dave and, well, I did, was focusing in on more as to what Motown was doing. And that was not getting us anywhere because now you find yourself competing against Motown.
Mm-hmm.
And you got people, writers coming in there, got Motown stuff, Chicago stuff, Miami stuff, and they're throwing songs at us that a lot of those songs that they were introducing, although Hayes and Porter is our producers, but a lot of those songs that they were introducing to us, they did not fit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'll be the first to tell you, they did not fit. And they had to throw those out. And we had, so what I remember them saying to me, they called me on the carpet one day and said, look, stop worrying about what Motown is doing. Concentrate on what we are doing here or what we are trying to do for you guys. Don't focus on what Marvin is doing, Marv Johnson is doing. Stop. Focusing. Let us hear you. You sing, let Dave catch. You understand? You pitch, Dave catch.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We don't want to hear any more about, well, Motown, well, Marvin Gaye is doing this, Tammy Rell is doing the S, do-overs and whatnot, Mary Wilson. So I got down to, so they focused more on writing. And the answer to your question about what songs, I think it was about the fifth song that I started appreciating more of the writing of Hayes and Porter. I think I liked, I take what I want, you don't know like I know. I started coming into saying, okay, trying to harmonize. And that was the last time I tried to stay there,
Mm-hmm.
To sing here and put Dave in another, and Isaac would sing Dave's part where he wanted Dave to stay. It would have worked if he'd have stayed there.
Mm-hmm.
If he would have stayed there, it would have worked. But as the years came about, people in his ear, hey, you know how people can be sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
They can be very vicious.
Oh, yeah.
But I started about the fifth song in coming into my own.
The epitome of your success in those days came in '67
Mm-hmm.
with an anthem that speaks as loudly and clearly in this new century
Mm-hmm.
as it did back then,
Mm-hmm.
and that, of course, is Soul Man.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know? Were you good at knowing when you had a piece of material that was going to grab the audience? You didn't hear it that way?
No. But, I just found out that Soul Man was really an anthem of, it was political.
Uh-huh.
It really was. You hear a lot of coming to you on a dust road and all of that, but you got to focus in on what the story was all about and the struggle that was going about at the time.
Sure.
The reason people like that song today, and I have found out, is it's a song, you were going through the struggle of civil rights and the freedoms and all this stuff and the marches and whatnot. But people would come see Sam, they sang that, and they would walk out either humming, singing, dancing. They may have walked in there with a struggle on their mind, worrying about whether they're going to get their next meal, or the house being burned down when they got back home from the Klan or whatnot. But when you walked out from our show, you felt good about yourself.
That's very interesting because
Yeah.
on the one hand, you had Curtis Mayfield and the Impressions singing
Absolutely.
"Keep on Pushing,"
Yes.
and on the other hand, you had James Brown
Yes.
with "I'm Black and I'm Proud."
Which he never said.
That's not the.
If you'll notice, he'll say it loud.
Yeah,
Okay, like I say to you, Peter, say it loud.
I'm black and I'm proud.
Did I say it?
You've given me more homework now. Will you cut that out? My point.